And we are live. Welcome, one and all, to the Minds of the Ecclesia. I am your host, Lethe Water Kai. And with me today, we have Jakkanadar of Jakkanadar Painting, Fafo, and the
FOFA.
amazing Dante.
You're part of FOFA. You can't even say our freaking acronym right.
Fail. Instant fail.
Yes, I'm Jack. Long time no see, because I'm sure everybody who's potentially in the chat at this point is already know me, so they don't need any fucking introduction. But do go check us out on Substack and YouTube at FOFA News. So beyond that,
This is a dog shit panel of dog shit takes from dog shit person. You should feel horrible for pushing this bullshit. I'm glad I blocked you. A whole lot of you. Fuck you especially. Thank you, Fister. That's a great way to start the stream. Oh, man. So how's the Dante coming along? How many more years before we finally get to the final circle?
I mean, dude, if we don't end up doing FOFA on Saturday, we'll be doing Canto 25 this week. Canto 34 is where we leave hell, so we're almost out of hell as it is.
Wow. I expected at least another year and a half.
No. 1 week per canto when we do it, and sometimes schedules just don't line up. Is what it is.
Good deal.
If we don't end up doing that stupid fucking COANTO Moon, Dante Alighieri, not Japan. No, but the issue is when you are doing this type of thing, live reading, I could probably read through all of Dante in 3 weekends. But then you're not getting any of the commentary, any of the history, any of the stuff from like the other translators and transliterators. So like when you're trying to do this for an education level, like, yeah, it takes a little bit more. We are essentially constructing a digital apparatus. Digital apparati are not going to be easily constructed. And even if I had all 4 of the people who are there all the time and our guests on occasion for like a week straight, we couldn't film it all in a week. There's not enough hours in the day. Like it is literally, you just have too much information to go over quickly. That's the whole point to the apparatus and why we're doing this as an education thing rather than just a live reading thing.
Does it feel bad that you don't get to say "and it came to pass" at least 30 times per episode?
No, I get plenty of lamentations. We're good.
Yeah, Mormon is just a ridiculous read in general.
I mean, and so it came to pass, and it came to pass, and it shall came to pass is something they stole from other Christians. So, like, you can't blame that one on the fucking Mormons. You can blame it a little bit on Joseph Smith for using it too often, but
he was really hammering it home. Oh
well,
no!
I mean,
I left my energy drink. It's in the freezer. I'll be right back. Please continue. I'm listening.
Okay, I'll fill dead air for chat because apparently, you're going to blow up a fucking energy drink in your freezer. So, yeah, like when you're actually dealing with Joseph Smith and the way that he did this, if you've ever read through the Book of Mormon, literally in every single book of the Book of Mormon, you will see "and it came to pass" no less than a dozen times. "And it shall come to pass" no less than 3 times. And what's the other one? And it is prophesied to come to pass no less than once. He was not a creative man. Sorry, I had to think of all 3 of them. Like by the time we got to 3rd Nephi, I'm like, dude, why?
3rd Nephi.
Why? I've read that whole goddamn book cover to fucking cover now multiple times, plus listened to it with R and Ra's fucking stuff on it, where he's got Blake, Bryce Blake and Angel and all the former Mormons on talking about it. And I'm just like, how did anybody but fall for this shit? Seriously.
And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about.
How did anybody fall for this shit?
That's kind of what I want to talk to you about.
Well, that's a bait and switch, because last time we were talking about a particular subject, but we could do anything. It's fine.
Yeah, we can get to that too, but like it's been on my mind Like some of the biggest cults that are around right now, like Mormon, Scientology, especially Scientology. Yes, Jack Ty, of course. Uh, L. Ron Hubbard was not a premier science fiction writer, yet he was able to form a religion that people bought hook, line, and sinker for large
No,
quantities
no,
of
no.
money.
You are talking about one of the most prolific science fiction writers of all time. Was he famous for it? No, because you're talking about niche construction of a niche genre of literary intrigue. But no, you're talking about that motherfucker published more work in the genre during his tenure than almost anybody else.
Oh yeah.
So no, he was extremely prolific. And small writers have great effects, and I'll bring up one that you probably are unaware of, but others may know. There's an entire book series called Gore, Gor. This is a little book series written by a jackass who's a professor at a small college in Queens, and the motherfucker has never found a word that he couldn't misspell. And a typo that he couldn't do and still put the book to publish. Yet this is a book series that has spanned something like 35 books now over 40 years and has spawned an entire subculture of people that like follow it religiously. And this isn't a cult. This is more of like a fun lifestyle thing as opposed to a cult thing. But like, yeah, small writer from fucking Queens wrote 35 books and created a lifestyle that spans the entire globe.
Wow.
Yeah. Influences are interesting when you get into like anthropological like population density and simulation and mimetic transfer across population lines and borderline. We'll be here all night on that Google Scholar rabbit hole. Don't get me started.
Fair enough. It's just wondering how people's critical thinking doesn't kick in, because I just recently watched again the Mormon woman watching the episode of South Park where they run down the founding of the religion.
Alyssa Grenfell or one of the other ones?
I don't know what her
so
name
many
is. But
blonde
she was
hair.
like,
Well,
yeah,
never
blonde
mind.
hair.
That's fucking all of them.
Yeah,
No, never mind. That's fucking all of them. Alyssa is the one who is very chipper, doesn't like to be too disparaging even when talking about horrific shit, because she's still in that I was raised an uber Mormon and I can't say certain words without feeling uncomfortable still. Like she's like, let's be honest, like, you know, plenty of people in your own family who, if I said the word cunt around them, they'd faint.
Oh, they
Yeah.
get crazy like watching my streams and hearing me curse. They're like, I can't watch this.
Yeah, this is my point. Like, and she was raised in that kind of community, so I can understand it. At the same time, I could go, yeah, fuck that. I like Alyssa, but she needs to cover that shit more with a less charitability to those pricks. And going to the question you asked about critical thinking, you're talking about the 1820s and 1830s. Most of these people went to school until third grade, if that, if they ever went to school. And of the ones who actually went to what we would have called graduation at that time period, that was 14 years old. They were basically graduating 8th grade. Critical thinking, what's that? These people were literally taught that like certain things were fucking supernatural out of textbooks.
Oh, the woman I'm
Like,
thinking of, his name is Sunday Jess.
I don't know her. There's so many so fucking many ex-Mormon creators.
Oh no, she's still a Mormon.
Like,
and she was explaining how they got everything wrong in the South Park episode and like trying to correct what they got incorrect and explain like why it was true.
I'll check it out. But considering I can point to exactly where in the Book of Mormon, exactly where in the Pearl of Great Price, and exactly where the Doctrine and Covenants, each one of those examples come from, as well as the few fucking Salt Lake City specific examples that these two former Mormons used in the thing that they wrote and put on TV. Because guess what? Trey Parker and Matt Stone were raised in those communities. They fucking know this shit.
I especially like the part where they got to when the wife of the dude that was helping Joseph Smith write, like it's like, well, we'll just remove
Stole
these,
it. Yeah.
and if he can reproduce it, then we'll know it's true. And she tried to explain that away so hard and twisted herself into pretzels about how there were people trying to steal the plates from Joseph Smith, and this is why there was a whole different version. It's like, wow, just zero critical thinking.
Okay. See, that one's not zero critical thinking. That is misinformation and education, because that person, I can tell you that was a person who was obviously raised in the late 80s to early 90s, because that is going to be what's his name? I can't remember the president's name now. The guy before the current prophet was the one teaching that version of the history, that people were trying to steal the golden plates very heavily. Before then, it was Satan was trying to influence the wife of this man to lead Joseph Smith astray. And before that, it was this is the problem when you have a living prophet on your hand at all times, because it changes every time there's a new one.
Isn't that convenient?
Just saying. Convenient, bug, feature, who knows? Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's Joseph Smith. This is a motherfucker who thought he could douse for gold, so it's not exactly the brightest crayon in the box.
And then I feel the same way about Scientology to a degree. Like, once you get up to like the point of learning about Xenu, and South Park also did that, which ruined their relationship.
But see, Scientology is different, because, like, when we get into Scientology, these are things that, based on what they're saying, we should have like measurable inputs to, things that we can track, things that people that are non-believers can identify and trace. That's where he fucked up, in my opinion. Is because what he did is he created a religion that is based solely within physical reality. There is no supernatural. The supernatural isn't supernatural. The supernatural is the dead spirits of nuked souls. Yeah, like, so there is no Thetans are the people who elevate themselves. Operating Thetan is the highest order that you can get within Scientology. That's a whole different fucking can of worms. No, I'm talking, these were the enemies of the warlord Xenu that he brought and put into our volcanoes, and then nuked with 1,000 multi-megaton nukes until all of the Earth's volcanoes went off and caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. Haven't you read this shit?
See the cover of Dianetics? Oh, man.
Now, this shit ain't on the cover of Dianetics. You have to read a little bit to find this crap. It's kind of like in Mormonism. You have to read before you find that you eventually become your own god and get your own planet and all that shit later. And this life isn't really a test to get into heaven. This life is a test to decide what type of planet you're going to get and what universe you're going to go out and create after this next rapture comes, because the God that exists today isn't the original God. It's one of the humans from the previous incarnation. Mormonism, so much fun.
Oh yeah. So speaking of
that's how people fell for that shit. It's too damn confusing. It takes somebody with a genius level IQ even just to keep up with the bullshit.
It's so much. But I would think by the time you spend so much money and they finally drop that last nugget of information on you, and you're like, no, the sunk cost fallacy kicks in, and there's no going back at that point.
No, well, it's not even sunk cost fallacy, because now you're talking about inculcation, can actually like warp perception, being in communities like that. That's a whole different thing. But they tell you evolved from a clam. Okay. Do we have a common ancestor with bivalves? Yes. Is it a fucking clam? No!
No.
Bivalves are modern evolution. They didn't exist that far back.
Gotta love it. So as we get to Mormons and who gets to be servants in the afterlife once you get your own heaven, getting to the thing I was going to talk to you about.
Don't forget, you have to be white and delightsome.
Yes, white and delightsome. I didn't want to say it, which is exactly what the person who was watching the episode of South Park personified. Ridiculous. So a woman.
Well, after after Nelson, the current prophet, took over, the Book of Mormon got edited, and now it says fair and delightsome because that's better.
I mean, it doesn't quite hit the same, unfortunately.
Well, it doesn't hit the same, but it doesn't hit the same, but it means the same fucking thing. Fair? So you want even pastier motherfuckers than white. Okay, I got you. Like, that's what that's saying. Come on.
There's no sun in heaven. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, everybody's a fucking Morlock. They're kept in the dark and fed on shit.
So on to the main thing. A woman raised over $600,000 on GiveSendGo. And a woman named Keandria Damone, an entrepreneur and activist based in Atlanta, Georgia, with a growing online platform, likes to bully racists off the internet. So what she has done is trace back the parent company of GiveSendGo, which is Square, and is basically pushing the banks to keep that cash. Hey, thank you, Zephyr. Appreciate it.
Okay.
And so essentially she is pressing that none of these people that are using these platforms to spread racism and pay for racists to get away with things to not get that money, which I don't know what happens to the money if that happens, but I find it to be very interesting.
Well, what would happen is it would have to go back to the people who issued it. They can't just confiscate it. There's little things called laws
what I can do.
that prevent that. Like, I mean, like that's how you get sued. And if these people, which as we can see, can afford to give $750,000 in like 2 weeks, they can afford to pay for some lawyers to give the parent company some problems.
Agreed. So to determine who the payment processor was, Damone used her tech savvy to break down GiveSendGo's HTML code and found where the payment processor was listed, which she alleged was Square, though the company has denied being the payment processor after she and many others began to reach out en masse to inquire. The company responded on their social media channels, telling them that they received a number of inquiries across a variety of channels related to the fundraising platform GiveSendGo. GiveSendGo is not a Square customer. We do not have and have not processed payments for them.
Yeah, because, and they can probably say this, and I'd have to dig because I haven't dug into this because why the fuck would I? But I'd be willing to bet if I were to dig or send a couple of tech tubers onto this with some legitimate skills, they'd find that no, they are processing these payments, but GiveSendGo is obfuscating even from the parent company that they're doing this through. Through the same way that like strip clubs and fucking porn sites did back in the 80s and 90s, and they come up with an innocuous ass name that's not actually the name of the company that then gets put onto the paperwork. Like, this is an old practice. It would shock me if that's not what's happening right now, because it adds a layer of plausible deniability. And corporations do this back and forth with each other. It's almost like an unwritten rule. Hey, yeah, just don't make us look bad. And yeah, we'll process your shit. They did it for fucking dispensaries and shit too when it was still illegal to house dispensary money. So that's why dispensaries back, 10 years ago, they were almost all cash. You couldn't use a debit card, couldn't use a credit card, because nobody would process the payments because of the federal illegality and all that crap. Now they do the same thing. Give us a different name on there, and we'll process it for you, no problem.
And I think that's definitely how they're keeping the plausible deniability of being connected to what's going on here, because I mean, in all honesty, racism just technically is not good for business. This is why they wore hoods back in the day. They did not want to be seen because they knew who they were doing business with, and they didn't want to cut their money supply. So I don't see why we're in this particular situation all
No,
over again.
honestly, no. Here's the thing. This is still skeezy. This isn't me defending them in any kind of like proper way. It's just kind of defending the practices being slightly misapplied there. No, they actually probably legitimately do not know that this other company is their customer. They do that intentionally. They do that intentionally. That's the whole point. That's why they do that. You don't think that Visa and MasterCard knew that Adam and Eve Inc. wasn't like, and the fact that there was like 5,000 of them in the South Florida area alone weren't strip clubs. Yeah, that was every ATM in South Florida strip clubs were listed as Adam and Eve Inc.
I did not know this.
Yeah, this is fucking 90s now. This is like newspaper shit way back when. This is the way that they would process it so that the people who were going to the strip clubs wouldn't get in trouble with their wife because it wouldn't show up as a strip club. It would show up as Adam and Eve Inc. Well, what also started up at the same time that the company started doing this, Adam and Eve Sex Toys became an online web shop.
That's what I thought you were talking about initially, and now I'm like, wow, this did not work out well for them.
No, that same company.
Wait,
they're doing it intentionally. They're doing it intentionally. Yeah, it's the same company that do it. That's why. That's they are processing the payments through the same internet sites essentially.
That is smooth.
That is an internet ATM. Well, no, it's smooth is one way to put it. Duplicitous and fucking slimy as shit is another. This was a way for people to fucking like cheat on their wives and not get caught. The same thing that people like years later they did with Ashley Madison, where now everything's encrypted until it's not.
That one blew up.
Well, it's the same shit. It's let's cover up the shit that we don't want people to see us doing because we're going to lie about doing it so that we can look better because people are judgmental pricks.
The hilarious downfall of Ashley Madison. The information that got out was bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, it definitely is what it is. I don't even know what the aftermath was once that was over and done with. I haven't heard anything about
lots
it in
of
a
divorces, lots of alimony, lots of shit that doesn't really hit the news.
Wow.
Well, I mean, dude, when you're put on blast like that, it's not like the divorce lawyer on the other side is going to have a hard time fucking breaking the prenup. Like at that point, every guy who just got caught in that shit was like, went to their lawyer. My wife's leaving me. What can we do? Time machine? Not get caught? Like
Jeremy's saying people went to jail.
Yeah, for the hacks and all that shit. There wasn't as many people who went to jail outside of like they went after a couple of the madams that were involved because of course you got to punish the sex workers, not the people who were actually frequenting the sites, so on and so forth. But yeah, there are a few people went to jail. But I think most of them got less than 10 years. And like if I remember correctly, most of them got fucking probation. They just had to basically be on like an ankle monitor for 5 years.
I mean, that's fair.
Shouldn't criminalize sex work, but yes, of the punishments they could have got, it's definitely the least worst.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want 10 years. I'll take probation. Thank you.
No, I'm with you. Like I said, least worst.
Yeah, so the Give, Sin, Go thing is kind of crazy because it's working on multiple angles. Because also, I think the pastor that was helping, or the lawyer that was helping Carmelo Anthony, also was using Give, Sin, Go, as well as these people named Mike and Taylor, who were singing racist Kanye West songs while putting up Nazi salutes, also made around 90 grand from Give, Sin, Go. So this platform has been gaining a lot of ground lately.
Well, yeah, but that's just because they've been kicked off of. They've been kicked off of GoFundMe and other sites because this has been an ongoing thing, and the companies themselves don't actually give a shit until it starts hurting their bottom line. Like, that's just the truth of it. Like, how many of those fucking trucker convoys, had their money through GoFundMe and all that crap? This is the problem with doing charity stream stuff like that. You are opening yourself up when it is available to anybody. It is available to anybody. And if you are not highly restrictive on your moderation, this is what's going to happen. And they will let it happen because it makes them money. And they're only going to stop it from happening when they actually start getting to the point where they're losing money because of it. So make these people lose money. Don't let their name out your fucking mouth. Everybody who's got a fucking problem with it, fucking bring up this company's name. Put that shit on Twitter. Put that shit on Blue Sky. Put it anywhere you could find it. Big ass fucking, support fucking dickhead sign.
I done goofed. I should not have kept reading, but I just sent you what I was reading. Apparently, this is a Christian fundraising site.
I mean, that doesn't shock me.
Because I was looking at the one for Mike and Taylor, and it was like there's prayer requests on the Give Send Go as well.
Yeah, dude, that doesn't surprise me, and I don't really care. Because when it comes right down to it, this is not a condemnation, and you know how quick I'll be one to snap on a fucking religion for being shitty. This isn't a condemnation on the religion, just this particular CFO. Right. And the reality of it is this is normal. If it had not have been this one, it would have been a different crowdfunding source. That is the problem with having all access available crowdfunding charity sites like this is just one we're aware of. There are probably GoFundMes and Give Send Goes and all, name all the other ones you can list, and it's probably on there too, where people are selling sex, selling virginity, selling fucking humans, because that's the problem with these anonymous sites like this. You can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want until you're caught.
And that's kind of where I'm at with this, because this statement kind of says and gets at the crux of where we're going here. In an interview with News Nation, the Give Send Go co-founder and CFO said that while he doesn't condone her behavior, the First Amendment gives the right to express themselves, something he believes is a strong argument against cancel culture. In America, we have freedoms that came at a very high price. This mob mentality has absolutely ruined so many people's lives over the past several years, where it's literally this person ruining their own life by doing something that they know is abhorrent to society and reaping the benefits of it. The use of the idea of the First Amendment seems to be completely twisted at this point.
Well, not twisted, misunderstood. And this is the problem with it. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, they're twisting the First Amendment. No, they just don't fucking understand it. First Amendment means that some jackbooted thugs can't come in and fucking put their fucking boot on my neck because of it. That does not mean that I am free from consequences of my fellow people in the country around me for doing the things. Freedom of consequences is different of freedom of censorship. You could be free of censorship and still fuck around and find out. Like, that's part of the deal. Like, come on now. And to answer your question, yes, Zephyr, if you were to go on the right Tornet, about 35 grand.
That is terrible information to have.
It's terrible information to fucking know about, but I fucking have it, so now they do too.
Nobody try this at home. This is not an endorsement of any product.
Nope. I'm telling you that if you go into the right places of the darknet, that should already tell you that this is not fucking endorsed, dumbasses.
So, the woman that was using the N-word regularly while doing a cooking show and pretending to be a trad wife, and of course the ice cream man is passing by. It's good timing.
Yeah.
went on Piers Morgan,
Uh-huh.
and Piers Morgan seemed appalled that this woman uses the N word regularly, as she admitted to doing, and at the same time dared her to say it, which Mark Lamont Hill, the ish, proceeded to lose his mind. Like, do not let this woman do this in front of me. I don't want any part of this. How often do you see Piers Morgan taking a stance like that?
Often. People forget he's a prick, but he's an English prick, well, Australian, but like he actually has principles that just don't always make sense. Oh my! You can't believe that you're using these expletives. Like that's what he's doing right there. He doesn't care that the person's being a racist prick. If the person was using an innocuous word, he probably wouldn't give a rat's ass, and it wouldn't be on the news.
I think just letting that woman get a platform after she had already lost her job, lost most sources of income, and was pretty much scrubbed from the internet, to give her another shot to come on and start the party all over again seemed really irresponsible to begin with, and to be all appalled when it happens.
Well, because the thing is two things. One, people forget Pierce Morgan is a television personality. He has producers, he has bookers, and he does not have final editorial control on all of this. There are going to be times where his producers throw him a story and he just has to fucking run with it because that's what they have to fucking do for fucking ratings, etc. So like there's a lot that goes into that. I'd be willing to bet, based on how little he knows on some of the subjects he covers, this happens more regularly than the average newscaster. Because like there are times where Pierce Morgan knows exactly fuck all, including his bullshit talking points. Like he can't even remember the bullshit he's supposed to be spewing. Because he literally it's just so new to him. He missed the bullet point. Like he's a newscaster. He's a decent interviewer. He's not a journalist in the traditional sense, like so many people take him as. That he has journalists who work for him, and he's the on-screen talent. Is essentially what he is.
I can see that. I would have assumed he would have vetted the person that he was talking to, and he seemed like surprised that she took the stance that she did.
When you have 5 zeros in your bank account that are on the back end of what you would normally think of as a good bank account number, and you're in Pierce Morgan's level, you have people who pay for that. 5 extra zeros in your bank account actually matter. When you can afford whole salaries in those 5 extra zeros.
Wow.
And that's what he does. He pays other people to do that. And here's the thing. If that woman was dangerous, she probably wouldn't have been on. If that woman was like unlikely to be able to get through a segment without screeching bloody murder, she probably wouldn't have been on. His producers technically did their job. He gave a segment that would not be dead air and would get ratings, would get eyeballs on the show, whether they're for or against whoever is on. That's the whole point. Pierce doesn't give a shit who. This is why he has people like fucking, in 1 week he'll have Milo Rossi, Flint Dibble, and all these like accomplished scientists and science communicators on, and the next week he has fucking Graham Hancock and the Weinstein brothers on. So he doesn't give a fuck who he has on. He gives a fuck if they bring people to watch.
Speaking of goofy shit like that, Bill Maher talking to what's his name? Terrence Howard. Yeah, I had to mention it. Like, how irresponsible is that?
Well, I mean, they're both fucking lunatics who don't understand the world around them and spout insane fucking pseudoscience nut crap. So they're two peas in a pod. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's pretty much Bill Maher's entire fucking platform once he puts on the damn smoking jacket and sits in the dumb chair. Like, since he left the fucking desk, he became a goddamn lunatic.
That's what it feels like. He just seemed like he was so stoned. He was actually, until there was one moment in the interview that he actually knew something about.
He smokes cigars. He doesn't smoke weed. You can't even blame it on being stoned.
I thought he was stoned. I was giving him a pat.
No, he's just that stupid. He legitimately believes that if you eat right, you can cure aging.
Didn't the guy that was like literally trying to de-age himself fail miserably and actually aged himself further?
Well, you can't de-age. No, that's not how that part works. But he thinks that you can cure aging with food. I know that with some CRISPR tech, we can talk about reinforcing telomeres and centromeres and potentially curing aging in the future is an actual real plausible thing. But that shit ain't gonna happen from eating an apple, asshole. Like, and that's what Bill's kind of suggesting. Oh, we have to do this, and we have to do that, and then in the same goddamn interview, I shit you not. Oh, I don't know what's in the pill. I just take it because it helps repair my centromeres. Motherfucker, you don't even know what a centromere is. You don't know that the supplement that you're taking would affect your DNA in the first fucking place. And if it did, how it would affect your DNA.
I think they were saying something about being in. I think Terry was actually saying it, like being underwater or some garbage will de-age you.
1 × 1 = 2 guy can shut up. I don't care. This is the guy who thinks that vertices and vortices are the same thing, and that the negative space between atoms actually encompasses a new form of stable molecular structure that he has discovered, built drones around, that will eventually be able to do everything from go underwater to outer space to become a Dyson ring. This is a snake oil salesman, my friend. Little drone with fan blades on it. Doesn't fly in space. There's nothing for it to push against. Can't fly it out around the sun, become a Dyson ring. Can't go underwater with something that's made out of exposed electronics. And something that's going to go through the water efficiently is not going to come back out of the water and fly.
Apparently, he says that these machines can actually build things in the upper atmosphere, which again, we're back to critical thinking again. Like, people sit there and make claims.
The person that he paid to program and create the drone for him has literally released a statement telling him he told Terrence Howard it couldn't do any of the shit that he keeps claiming it can do. And Terrence Howard just keeps claiming it.
And that's what I'm saying. He's getting on shows, making these claims, while everyone around him is letting him know, and probably other people know, that his claims are complete garbage. And people are still bringing him on and giving him money. I'm sure he gets paid for these things.
Yeah, dude. And I'm sure Terrence Howard gets paid through his fucking weird little university thing that he does. And, same with Andrew Tate and all these other fucking assholes, because they're grifting on the desperation of others, the incredulity of others. This isn't an attack on their critical thinking, although it very well could be morphed into one. It is an attack on the consumerism that they are exploiting in this. What they are doing is selling a service that they are promising a guarantee on that nobody could guarantee even if they were legit. Let's just say Terrence Howard was legit. Let's say he actually discovered all this crazy shit. He didn't, but let's just say it's not a catch-all. X = 0 does not equal means Y = 1. That's not how this works. Like, even if all of the shit he was saying was true, he doesn't then give us a mechanism of how it would work.
Yeah, the practical application doesn't exist.
Well, practical application be damned, because sometimes the technology doesn't catch up with what we know we can do. That's why we have to build the new technology. It's a matter of he can't even understand the mechanism that he is saying that he is revolutionizing enough to explain it. And I'm not even saying like explain it in a way that I can understand it. because I mean, I'm pretty smart, but maybe it's outside my wheelhouse and I can't get it. Anyone can understand it, because everybody who has tried to follow his little fucking math principles that he's put online and tried to replicate the shit he's come up with can't do it. Nobody.
If you were to try to apply it to the current technology that we have, it would literally annihilate all technology as we know it.
I don't know if that's actually a true statement. I'd probably that one's might be a little bit too hyperbolic, but yeah, the fact is we cannot replicate the thing that he is saying. Doing the method he shows us is the thing that he says he did. So either he lying about the thing that he did, lying about the thing that he said he did, or he's just stupid. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that this isn't malice and just call him dumb.
That's fair. The reason why I bring it to the whole critical thinking portion is like when I bring this to a certain group of people and I'm like, this person is insane. There's something wrong with this person. They proceed to tell me why it makes sense purely on vibes. Like they don't know what they're talking about either. But because I'm speaking out against this person or they think I don't like this person, they want to make sure that they think this person is correct. And one of the instances that I did this was with a dude named Kevin Gates, who at one point said he could start a car battery with his bare hands.
Yeah, the guy, the lightning tongue guy. I remember him.
Yeah. So I'm like, can you believe this jackass? They're like, no, he's right. You can do this thing. Excuse me?
Okay. No. Here's the thing. Technically, he is right, because he is referencing something that was done in the 1970s. What he is failing to tell anybody is that the person that was able to do this also had a iron in their blood count 27 times what the average human does. They were basically a walking iron rod. They conducted electricity really, really well. This person was a genetic anomaly, not every human. This person also, due to that high level of iron content in their blood, died very young, because that's very hard on your heart, kidneys, and liver.
Yeah, I don't think the human body likes having that high of an iron content perpetually.
No. Basically, this person had a genetic, like, we don't know the exact thing because we haven't actually genetically sampled them, but we have other people who have similar conditions in modern times. What is believed is he has a genetic thing where basically his body can't disperse lead or disperse iron, like it can't pass it out of the body. So every bit of iron that they ever intake during their entire life continues to build up in their bloodstream until it's used. Yeah,
Speaking
these people like live to adulthood have to eat like highly restrictive diets, all kinds of shit.
I don't know if you watched that show, Stanley's Superhumans.
A few times. I love Stan Lee, but that show, like, it's kind of boring. Like it's basically, Jonathan Frank's Beyond Fiction, or what was it, Fact or Fiction, whatever the fuck it was called, but with a less entertaining host. As much as I love the host, he's not entertaining. He's really not. He's a good person, but he is not entertaining.
No, not at all. It was a pretty hard watch, but it was interesting enough. Like there was a dude that apparently he said he hugged a transformer and lived, and he could like channel electricity through his body and like power a hot plate. I don't believe this is true.
No, there are people who've done this. We have video of people who've done this without tricks. What they're failing to put into account is the amount of fucking like scar like tissue that's underneath certain parts of the body, and that they're using a type of surface transconduction and all this other stuff, which is basically relying on a certain level of moisture at certain layers of the skin, so that the electricity travels around the outside of the body rather than through the inside of your body, which would be what is the thing that starts killing organs and all this other You can actually kind of see this if you were to get a step-up transformer hooked up to a 9-volt battery, and you were to start taking wires and start arc flashing a tomato. You will actually watch the electricity travel under the skin before the arc flash happens. Like because of that kind of like moisture barrier that we have. I think it's like the fifth or sixth layer of skin. It would basically be traveling through that hyper moist area of body, as opposed to traveling straight through, because that becomes the path of least resistance, because then it doesn't have to go through our fat layers to get to the internal organs.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, you'd probably cook your internal organs if you weren't doing this thing with some level of information. Like, it's not something you just want to try.
Well, no, he's probably this motherfucker probably had no information going into it. This isn't like something you can go pick up a fucking book at the library on. This is probably something he did on accident and then just kind of kept doing. Like, it's probably like that's how most of these like legends of like superhuman people, like the people who can like drive nails through their cheeks and not bleed, and like it was something that happened on accident once, and then they just kept doing it. Like, you know, that guy probably out in the woods trimming a tree or something and got stabbed by a fucking stick. Hey, why is my cheek not bleeding? Hey, I bet we could do a show with this. That doesn't even hurt. Like, come on, man. We've all had those fucking friends in the woods. Hey, man, if you do this, somebody will come up and clap and put money in the hat.
To that degree, I'll say like this is a reality, but for a lot of these things, it's usually a trick, and the fact that people are willing to believe that this is a thing that can be done by normal people is kind of what leads us down really wrong paths.
Well, that's what that was the whole thing that Stan Lee didn't do, because that was the whole point. These are superhumans. These are the exceptions. This is not what anybody can do. This is what this person can do, is what they did on that show. And that was, don't get me wrong, it's a level of human exceptionalism that you and I are going to know how much I fucking hate. But when it comes right down to it, he wasn't doing the thing that the snake oil salesmen were, because one of the first things that he puts up on screen is, these people are very unique. You cannot do this. Please do not try anything you see on the show at home. Like all those big disclaimers of this is not something that everybody can do. Now, he didn't go so far as to call some of these people genetic freaks or liars or con men, but he was still telling people that were watching the show, hey, this isn't normal. Don't try this.
I just remember somebody did a bunch of debunks on the guy that was actually doing the electricity tricks, and he was doing like the extra theatrics of like having his eyes roll back into his head and saying he can't see while he's doing it. And
oh yeah, that's all fucking act. That's all pageantry, 100%. Yeah. For example, if you ever get to the point where you're electrocuted enough to where your eyes are rolling in the back of your head, you have bigger fucking problems. Just saying. Because that means the electricity is passing through the optical musculature, which means the electricity is passing through your brain. Yeah, saying you have bigger problems than fucking. I can't see. No, bitch, you're dead.
Your brain is cooking.
Yeah, so yeah, there's going to be some theatrics that go along with this, just like bringing it back to how we started this with the religious shit, just like the jackasses who are literally speaking in tongues, not realizing that they are just mimicking the phonemes and homonyms within their own language, because they've watched so many people in the past do it, and that they are having a mass hallucinatory effect based on the ambience of the room and the fact that it's an expectation of the population around them, the same way that hypnosis works. Like, you know, if somebody's a high skeptic, you're never going to catch them fucking speaking in tongues during a ceremony. Somebody who's a little bit more gullible, yeah, you can get them most of the time.
I can't remember.
Same way
what
with
it was.
hypnotism.
I was watching something where some dude called out, like, hey, is there somebody here that can speak in tongues? I actually got somebody to come up on stage and speak in tongues, and then asked everybody, like, does anybody understand what this person is saying? And the whole thing broke down quickly.
But that's the whole point. This is part of the scripture that people forget about when it comes to that particular example. The whole speaking in tongues, this is supposed to be the universal language that we lost at Babylon, is what is supposed to be being spoke during that. It is supposed to be anybody who is speaking in tongues should be able to universally understand anybody else speaking in tongues and vice versa. It is one of those things. Yet we've recorded this multiple hundreds of times over the years since the fucking tape recorder was invented. None of them are ever speaking the same thing, and none of them can tell what the other one the fuck is saying. It's gibberish. They are literally just using the phonemes and honems within their host language, or their original like parent language, and cutting out all of the hard syntaxes, hard syntax and secondary grammatical flourishes. It still follows like if this is somebody who speaks English, if you pay attention, the syntactical beat within the tongues will be English, not fucking Latin or Greek or Hebrew.
Hey, got a harumph in the crowd. What's up, Changebox?
Oh well, Changebox may dislike my level of venom I'll send this way, but he probably doesn't disagree with this overall. Because I know him. He's a pretty smart cookie. He's probably seen enough of these studies to see how easy it is to manipulate crowds like this. Well, that's fine. Disliking me in every way is a perfectly natural response.
Yeah, it's funny how so many miracles don't happen anymore now that we have cameras and recorders and so many things.
Oh no!
Fewer Bigfoot
don't you
sightings.
Know? We have saints of the internet now.
Dude. When did he become the patron saint of the internet?
No. The patron saint of the internet is Saint Isidore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not him. It's the other one.
Oh. I missed the joke.
Yeah, no. That kid's being considered for canonization. This one's already canonized, but it's now the patron saint of the internet.
Crazy. Saint Kevin Gates. Yes, exactly. The dude that could actually perform chemistry within his own body to create water so he doesn't die of starvation.
That fucking jackass. I'll never not call him Lightning Tongue, because that fucking video he sent into Oprah when it leaked was fucking gold. And if you haven't found it, I highly recommend you go look for the leaked interview tape, or a leaked audition tape where he tried to get on Oprah back in the day.
There's some special people out there. The Pope is from O Block. Yeah. Cabrini Green no longer exists. Oh, the Pope stuff is hilarious.
Yeah, Pope Bob's from Chicago.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of I don't care.
I told you my criteria. We'll see if he ever gets called by his chosen papal name. So far, I'm not too hopeful.
Oh, you don't think they're going to call him Leo?
Oh, no, it's whether or not I am going to.
Oh.
Frankie eventually got called Francis because he proved to be less of a shitbag than everybody expected him to be. We'll see if this one can fill his namesake.
I'm probably going to forever call him Pope Bob because it just has a ring to it.
Fellis Maristrix Angepucus, Horcat of Rome.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I told you, like, the second he came out with his papal name, I was like, nope, this is it now. You don't get that name yet. Because, first of all, he's trying to go after, like, a lineage of, like, halfway decent popes in history, which are fucking rare to begin with. Second of all, he's literally lionizing himself.
Starting the party strong.
Arrogance. The fucking arrogance.
Arrogance in the church? Blasphemy. You stop that right here now.
Well, but we'll see. He could live up to the name. He could be the great, version of this papal name. I'm not hopeful, but he does have the possibility because he's already fucking surprised me on a couple of things. But he's also lived exactly up to expectations on a couple of things, and that's pretty fucking bad considering it's only been like 2 weeks. A week now, actually. It's not even 2 weeks.
Hey, as we'll
see how he responds to Washington.
As we've seen with the current administration, a lot can happen in 2 weeks.
And for those in the audience who don't know what I'm talking about, the reference, I'm not talking about DC, I'm talking about Washington State. Go look up the law they recently passed there and why I'm interested to see how the Pope reacts and whether or not he funds the lawsuits that they're trying to file. So, have fun. We don't need to go off onto that tangent. We'll be here the rest of the night. And I have a video to do on it anyways.
Yep. I figured that would be worth a video in itself, easily. And a good conversation about education.
Well, I mean, that one doesn't affect education for Washington because it is a expansion of something that has already existed, and teachers and nurses and all that stuff were already on that list of mandatory reporters. So like that it doesn't affect the school system outside of Catholic school system at all. And here's the thing, in Catholic school, you don't go to confession in school. That's still a mass thing. You still go to your home church for that. Like, you can technically get confession anywhere, but confession isn't done in school. My dad went to Catholic school. I've been to Catholic school. I've known a lot of people who've gone to Catholic school. Confession is still done at the fucking cathedral, not in the school. So like, it wouldn't cover almost anybody in that situation at all. So Catholic school should be fine regardless. Hold on, I gotta go get my dog in. But go ahead and fill some dead air. I can still hear
the
you.
Pope's brother admits he will probably tone it down on social media after far-right posts are revealed. Apparently the Pope's brother is posting some interesting things. The post could no longer be seen by Tuesday. He reposted a video of Pelosi, which included a caption from the original poster referring to the former speaker using vulgarity. The post also suggested that Pelosi's husband, Paul, was homosexual, which repeated a suggestion from the misinformation campaign that was shared among those on the right after he was attacked with a hammer by a man that broke into his home. You gotta love this coming from, hey, you get dogs and cats, hey, puppies.
Yeah, Barbie.
Adorable.
Yeah, Barbie. You look better than me anyways. People rather look at you than my bald ass.
Things with hair always look better. Bald people are not appreciated enough. Even Krillin especially.
Krillin's problem wasn't that he was bald. He doesn't have a nose.
He didn't need a nose.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Mannequin face can fuck off. I'm sorry.
I don't understand the lore of that entire universe on so many levels. Like, Tien doesn't make sense. Why does he have an eye on his forehead? And yet, where does he come from? What is he? What was Chaozu? Why does Krillin not have a nose?
But you're only this is how I know that you're focusing mainly on like the fufura, the fights and all that shit. The president was a cat.
The president was a cat.
The president of Earth was a cat. Dragon Ball Z made no sense. Don't try to make sense of it. They literally had... Okay, so they go to the afterworld where they have giants and shit, right? Yet somehow they have an anthropomorphic yak as the Undersecretary of the Interior of Japan. A yak. That world was never meant to make sense. Toriyama was on some good drugs.
He definitely ran the full gamut. Jeremy, why? Oh,
No, and no, Kyle. Mr. Popo is not an issue because of the simple fact that a lot of people misunderstand Mr. Popo actually comes from like parts of like mythology and shit like that. And yes, it does look really, really bad because of other shit that happened in America, but they're not actually connected.
good old American racism ruins everything.
Yeah, minstrel shows were interesting, let's just say.
Yep, it even taints
And,
other places' racism, makes it worse.
well, it's like people forget about this part of history. Is like there's a certain time period where colorism was so extreme that black people would literally black themselves out in coal dirt to look darker. Like that was actually something that happened in the early 1800s, especially if they were performers.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Colorism's always been a bitch, man. Doesn't matter where you are, when you are. We'll always find some reason to hate some jackass for something.
How does Mr. Satan make sense in a world where so many martial artists can fly and fire shit out of their hands and planets explode? Like, there's so many people that came before Mr. Satan that probably would have rocked his world. I don't see how he ever made it as far as he
No, no,
did.
no. The point that Kyle's trying to make is that Mr. Satan is supposed to be the pinnacle of what humans are capable of.
Yamcha
He
would have
is the
rocked his
normal
cradle.
one. Yajirobe would have kicked the shit out of him. Let's be real. But but Mr. Satan was a regular human, massive fucking wrestler. Like he would have been the equivalent of like our like actual like MMA fighters like today type thing. And he's supposed to reference the pinnacle, big dumb idiot who's really strong and can take lots of damage. I don't know that I agree that with Kyle that it makes sense. When the cat runs the planet, there's a cat who was president of Earth, not of Japan, not of America, president of Earth. And he was blue. He was a blue cat who was president of Earth. I'm sorry.
Why couldn't it be Puar? Wait a minute, what happened to Puar?
And the world may never know.
Puar just
it's like,
disappeared.
and people forget all the stuff that happened in GT. People like sleep on Pan. People sleep on all kinds of shit in that show because now we have Dragon Ball Super and Blue and all this other dumb shit that they came out with now, where now they basically shit fucking universes and sneeze fucking black holes at each other.
Yeah, GT had to go.
No, GT is less powerful than the shit they're putting out now.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Give me my fucking Super Saiyan Jump 4 back, you motherfuckers. This shit's stupid. Ultra Instinct. Okay, I get some gray hair and some fucking cataract eyes, and suddenly I'm a fucking wizard. That's dumb. Blue. Okay, Super Saiyan Blue. So literally, some jackass watched something that they were watching on like 4chan where somebody was going through the hue shifter in a GIF.
Yeah, they're not trying very hard. Is it the dog or is it the cat? Cat, President Dog. Gotcha.
It is the Barbie. I don't know what
Super
she
Saiyan 3 is garbage. I mean,
well, Super Saiyan 3 was the Cro-Magnon thing. It was stupid. 4 was cool though. That was where he got the red hair all over him and shit. Like that one looked cool.
man, doesn't he regrow his tail at that point too?
Yep. And if you get the moon to show up when you're in Super Saiyan Jump 4, you get Golden Ozuka.
That's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna hate. All right, so it's about the time. The panel is now open. If anybody wants to hop in and talk, and need to ban that guy. We have none of that. I thought I already banned that one.
You probably banned 66.
Already banned the quick draw. I actually have to type that stuff out.
No, you
Yeah,
don't.
good conversation.
I mean, we barely covered the give, send, go shit, but I mean, the reality is as shitty as that is, welcome to the new reality for at least a little while, because we're going to be fighting these culture shifts for fucking years to come. This woman making 750 grand, I'm surprised she didn't make more. And if the company steals those donations, it will actually be as unethical as the people giving her that money.
Oh,
So
oh God.
what would have to
Oh, you
happen
didn't want
is
in?
they would have to freeze the payments and then send them back. You can't steal the money and send it to other people. You can't fucking like that. That's not how charity shit works. That's fucking fraud. You actually would have to send the money back to the people who tried to send it to her. So don't do the unethical shit, but go ahead and not give her the money.
A lot of the people that were donating were anonymous, of course, and using pretty much names in regard to the person
they're anonymous for what appears on screen. I guarantee you, the fucking credit card or debit card or PayPal they used has a name on it.
Oh, absolutely. But the names they were using were like the ghost of the person that Carmelo Anthony killed.
Yeah, and Goebbels and fucking yeah. There was plenty of them. I've seen the screenshots. I mean, there was one guy who at least was semi-creative. He named himself the first guy to ever get killed in a fucking concentration camp.
Jeez.
Like yeah.
And the racism's still standing strong.
Yeah, that motherfucker was. I mean, I'll give him bonus points for being creative. Because like you actually had to look that shit up. Like that's not something like most people remember. I had to go look up the name. I'm like, that name looks familiar. Who is that? Motherfucker. So like,
Knowledge.
yeah. What's going on, Jeremy? Who's the other one that joined? Sorry, I'm not looking at.
Esther.
Hey, what's up, Actrox?
It's good to see you, man. Miss you around the spaces.
Yeah, just catch me over on YouTube. I still appear over there. I just hate this fucking platform now.
Yeah, Jack has multiple
Which is
videos.
stupid.
And the last video he did was actually great. Just so many key references, reminding people of why Mike Pence is no longer the vice president of the United States and what happened to him.
No, that was a good joke. That was
great.
The video. You focus on the wrong things.
I got a belly laugh out of it when Pepperidge Farm remembered.
No, I get it, but at the same time, I'm sitting there going like, that was not the point of the video. There was more to that video than that.
Oh, there was so much in that video. But I don't want to spoil it for anyone that's watching it because it's a lot of good information and it's got a good bite to it. I mean, enjoyed it.
I'm covering Christo-fascist. The fucking material's easy.
I mean, is it at this point?
No, not like I have to try hard. They do something stupid, the rest of it just flows out of my mouth like water. It's good.
Easy mode. It's realistic. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's just like,
it's like, nah.
They're this fucking stupid that I don't even have to work to explain how stupid they are. I don't have to go. Like the one that we're talking about doing Saturday for FOFA, and if we don't do Dante, about like covering the executive order that's going to be like confiscating part of the VA campus away from places that it's leased to currently and all this other shit. Like that one may actually fucking have like wider implications because of like other things that have been said around it. That's actually like something that I actually work on because that's something they're trying to do sneakily. This is shit they're doing out in the open. I don't have to try for that. That's easy. Like think about it. Like honestly, like if it takes me 20 minutes to find the deepest root of their fuckery on a subject, that gives me all that extra time to write better fuck yous to them.
That's what we need.
That works.
They're going to keep giving us ammunition for the foreseeable future because they're kind of getting a foothold right now, and this is probably the best point for them to be able to do so. Because once it slips away, I don't think they'll have the same kind of momentum that they have right now.
Well, but the thing is the momentum will just change and shift. Like that's part of the thing that people need to kind of what I was getting on Rich about it in GMs is it's like there's a certain level of complacency that happens. Like, oh, we got this vote. Oh, this person got in. But we don't know if that person's going to live up to expectations. We don't know if that person's going to get corrupted by the fact that there's a captured market on this seat or this committee or this, blah, blah, blah. Pick your fucking thing that's going on. When you are in this level of uncertainty, there is a far deeper level of analysis that needs to go in, and you need to be far less trusting of the things that you even think are secure than you would be normally, because you don't realize what may be coming, what wave may knock you off next. You have no fucking clue because it's literally uncertainty you're facing. There's only so many confounding variables you can prepare for. Can you go back outside? Okay, fine.
Gee.
Okay. She's going to chase some birds. She must have heard something.
Oh, there's so much ridiculous stuff going on. Apparently, Saudi Arabia gifted. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say, Toby.
Oh, you mean Qatar?
Oh,
Qatar Qatar gave Trump a $400 million plane, and he said yes to it as like a gift or something.
And he said that that Democrats are stupid for not accepting it.
Democrats are stupid for expecting to pay full price, because to him, getting a free gift is something that is a benefit and would be viewed as a beneficial bonus to a deal that most people don't other get, because that's what happens in business. In politics, that's called a bribe, asshole.
And plus, Bonnie's a paid Qatari person. Was that foreign?
Well, I mean, there's the Qataris are behind Al Jazeera. The Qataris protected the fucking Hamas fucking leadership. But it's not just that. It's also, this is supposed to be a temporary replacement for Air Force One.
Yep.
Air Force One has so many like things that even I don't know about, like that you cannot find, no matter how deep you dig as to all the tech they put into that plane. It's still classified 40 years later because it still fucking works.
It's just
You
well
can
made.
literally
It's
run
well
the
made to work
country.
a long time.
Yeah, you can literally run the country and fly around in a 747 that can be refueled and kept in the air perpetually or near perpetually. Like, that is not something that this other one's going to be able to do, but I guarantee you it's going to have a lot more gold-plated nonsense in it, because Qatar were trying to fucking appeal to Trump. This is a bribe. It has nothing to do with actually being a replacement for Air Force One. Air Force One isn't about comfort, it's about security. And Air Force One is also equipped with things like chaff, fucking, and radar jibs, and all kinds of other shit. Yeah. All kinds of shit to prevent people from shooting it with fucking big rockets.
Yep. It's got a very advanced set of countermeasures, active countermeasures, passive countermeasures, and logistical systems. It's basically a flying United States Capitol.
Yeah. Well, at least temporary
Almost.
capital. Yeah, at least.
Temporary mobile logistics capital.
Yeah, this is like, I don't know if the Qatari one that they got is going to be adequate. It could be.
It can be modded to be. It's not that
Well, no,
hard.
it may have a lot of the stuff. We don't know what the Qatari did when they were putting all the retrofits in it. You know what I mean? To make it luxury. We don't know what they did. It could have a lot of this shit, but we can't guarantee the security of the information passing through the fucking plane anymore.
Yes, we can. When I acquire a piece of equipment that I didn't necessarily know the status of, not gonna just take it. I'm gonna take it and disassemble it from the front to back.
Yes,
And then
but
put it back
Jeremy,
together.
you're smart.
Also, what the Air Force will do, irregardless of what the president has to say.
No, because it's not an Air Force jet.
Oh,
That's the
it's
whole
not.
no.
It's a
It's the
private
Marine.
jet.
It's the Marines.
Oh, okay.
You would hope it was Air Force, but no, the helicopter and the plane are controlled by the Marines.
And
Hey,
let's
you're
remember,
big.
Kyle. It's not just President Skycat; it's King Furry Skycat.
And plus, you guys are just, they're way more careful about who they invite to signal chats.
I mean, I'm waiting for my invite at this point.
Hey, dude. If I get one, I will invite you.
No, I mean, like, honestly, if I get an invite from fucking, one of these jackasses, I'm leaving. I'm not staying around. I see what fucking the jackass for fucking the Atlantic is going through. He's got money to deal with that shit. I don't. I'm good. I'm out. I'm just leaving.
I
I'm
don't
like,
want
no.
to fuck with this. Everyone
I
else,
don't wanna-
I'm here for it. I like living. You like breathing too much, goddamn you.
No, there's things I'd like to be able to like help people with. That ain't not going to be able to help anybody with. We already know they have the op security of a fucking goddamn ninth grader trying to sell weed at fucking lunchtime. Still fucking texted his goddamn wife about it too.
Yeah.
That alcoholism, dog.
Yeah, I'd like to blame it on the alcoholism, but he was always a fucking idiot. He was a fucking idiot when he was in the military. Like, there's reasons that multiple people that served with him have come out and talked about how he's just out of his fucking mind.
He's not all put together, sir. What the fuck you mean by that? He's stupid. It's what they're fucking trying to tell
And
you.
they came out before he got put into the job. They came out when he was still on fucking Fox.
Oh yeah, this motherfucker is dumb. I remember when somebody said it's like these somebody I saw
Like, I don't like
a video of this
JD. Like, I don't like
dumb.
JD Vance. I wouldn't call JD
Oh.
Vance stupid. I call Hegseth stupid.
Damn.
Yeah, no, because here's the thing. JD Vance is unlikable. He's kind of like gormless in a lot of respects, but he's not actually stupid. If you look at his transcript, you could call it nepotism to a point, but like he actually did halfway decent at schools that are not going to cook your grades for you no matter how much money you give them. He's probably not an idiot. He's just a scumbag. Like, I can hate him for the shit that he actually does instead of giving him some credit of being stupid. Whereas no, Hegseth is legitimately stupid. If Hegseth had been raised in a different family, he probably would be less of a vile human because he's just aping what his dad said.
I don't think it's like it's already bad enough that it happened. Is that no ramifications are going to come to the people that did this, and the government's just going to explain it away.
The ramifications was Trump took Pete Hegseth's pick away from him, and now Trump is going to pick his lead advisor at the Pentagon. So he's literally putting Hegseth at the kiddie table.
Corner.
Literally.
Put him in the corner.
I'm taking this away. Here's your aid. You don't get to pick.
Called him soup brain. Yeah, no, I don't see why anybody would accept the explanations that they're giving. And then they tried to blame the journalist for what happened in the first place. Like, I don't know, like he just got his way in.
He must have hacked his way into here. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Mike Walls is tech illiterate enough where I think he may have actually believed that when he said it, that was possible. I honestly do think he was that tech illiterate that he could have fucking thought that was possible. The NSA agent who said it, though, I don't buy for a sec.
Not even in a trillion years. You couldn't pay me to be that ignorant.
You couldn't pay me to sell my fucking intelligence that low. Because
Yeah.
that's like, how am I going to hack into an encrypted network to a chat that I don't know exists, that was set up at a time I don't know, with people that I don't know, about something that I don't...
No, nor give a fuck about. It's like, well,
no, he actually
really
gave a fuck
try.
Well, he actually gave a fuck about it, but my point is let's just say, for the sake of argument, Jeremy, you're in fucking what's his name at Atlantic Shoes, and you want to get into there. You'd have to know some of this information to try and hack it.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying it's unhackable, but you have to know it exists to hack it. You have
You're
to go
looking for it. You have to find it. He's like, you gotta search, you gotta dig deep. He's like, how are you gonna do it? I gotta hack I have to get my hands on one of these stupid idiots' phones. How's that gonna happen? Well, there's a guy that's similarly named to that one dude that people call it a diversity hire.
Why am I picturing Ocean's 11?
Because there is a certain level of social engineering that would go into hacking an encrypted network like this that you would have to do, that Jeremy and I are hinting at. But the point is you have to know it exists. I can't hack into the NSA database on American citizens if I don't know where it is. I don't know where the encryption imports are. I don't know where the secure access. I'd have to know at least some piece of data outside it exists.
Wasn't it amazing how they ran it? Like, first it didn't happen, but if it did happen, he hacked his way in. But if he didn't hack his way in, Biden's administration said it was okay for us to do it this way.
I'm sorry, fucking what?
Yeah. Did you not follow that, Jeremy? Yeah, dude.
I saw that. I saw that. I heard when I first heard that. I said, "I'm sorry, what?"
Yeah, no. The rapidity at which Levitt fucking spat that line out and moved on to the next one. I was like, hold on, let me rewind that. This is the dumb fact of saying this shit. You're recorded. Hold on a second.
No, we ain't gonna speed that past that real quick. No, sir. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
This isn't the day of the
90s.
Yeah, this isn't the days of the 90s when you could have the really fast fucking auctioneer speak the fucking fine print at the bottom of the screen so quick that nobody outside of a fucking goddamn audiologist was going to be able to understand a word he fucking said. It don't work that way anymore. We got YouTube and we can slow you down to a quarter.
Got C-SPAN too, motherfucker. You know what? I've been going back and looking at C-SPAN. C-SPAN has been like on it. C-SPAN, regardless, has just been running pockets.
Well, but it's also C-SPAN's recorder goes down to 0.1 instead of 0.25, so you can get even slower.
Yeah, it's so good because like I was like sitting there, somebody said something, I was like, wait, hold on, wait a minute.
I'm not positive, and Jeremy, the tech guy here, could correct me. I think they host off Vimeo.
Yes,
because the player looks like Vimeo.
Yeah, it is Vimeo. They have C-SPAN is like one of the few channels that you can find like just on rabbit ears, and they have C-SPAN. I think there's like 5 C-SPANs or 3 C-SPANs or whatever. It's just different angles.
C-SPANs 1 through 4. 2 of them cover reps. 2 of them cover Senate.
Yeah. So it's like what are your names? It's like it's just nothing but. It's like if you're a political nerd and it's just your soap opera. Just.
Well, for me, it's my fucking nightmare. But yeah, like seriously, the amount of time that while I'm watching a How Ridiculous or a John Malecki video or a Professor Dave video, I have C-SPAN AM running on my left ear at all times, like just listening to it constantly, waiting for something that I have to pay attention to.
Well, at least you're not hearing about the Diddy trial.
Oh no, yeah. We hear that's mentioned. Don't forget, there's still anchors on C-SPAN. I don't get to hear about the details of the trial, but I got to hear that it started and that they started like seating jurors and witnesses and all that stuff. So, yeah, I know what's going on. I don't care because, like, you know, my stance on kitty diddlers. It's universal. I don't care what background you're from. If you're a kiddly diddler, get fucked.
Oh, speaking
Black hole,
of, what do you
surface to
think
the
about
star.
the Pam Bondi stuff and the Epstein files?
I don't care. We all know who's on it. We all know why they're not releasing it. I got motherfucking video of him and Epstein fucking scoping out young girls at a party. I don't need a fucking flight log. I know there's a lot of people who are rabid about it. If they release it, I'm not going to trust that it's not sanitized. It's just that simple.
The sheets are just gonna be black. It's gonna look
Well,
like a
no, I'm
black
not even talking.
photocopy job.
I'm not even talking like redacted, which is the black bars you're describing. I'm talking actually sanitized. Gone in, actually fabricate names off of it and make it look like they were never there. I would not put it past them at how long it's taken to release them. Even if they had 1 million pages, they have had more than enough time to edit that many. I would not trust if there's names that have been edited out of it. It's just that simple. I don't trust this administration to be truthful unless they're just too stupid to lie about it, which has happened a few times.
White House has pointed out that the Diddy trial has started in earnest. But the funnier thing was that Suge Knight said, and I don't believe a word Suge Knight says, that Trump will give Diddy a pardon once it's all over and done with.
Here's the thing. I don't believe Suge Knight either. I could believe it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I ended up with the Epstein thing.
Well, no, but I mean, that's the reality. I could believe it for multiple reasons. One, if Diddy gives him enough money, we already know he's buyable.
What you were?
A signature on a pardon doesn't really mean all that much, because what is it like? Getting Diddy out, that might actually win him, you know, like support from certain parts of the African American communities. That might help. It might actually help. Like, you know, this, like that would be the thought process. It would be, yeah, give me $5 million, and yeah, this will help me out in the polls. Like that'd be the extent of the thought if it comes to it. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
I want to think black people would not be happy that Diddy gets out of this. I think most of us want to see him go down.
How many people still support Cosby?
Yeah, no, I know you're right. I just don't want to believe. But then GSU exists, so here we are.
Yeah, like we have our friends who still think that fucking Cosby was innocent, and that it was all made up bullshit, and that people just fucking started repeating the same things, even though a lot of the stories were dramatically different and had like outcry witnesses and witnesses that were completely tangential to the people that they didn't even have an outcry. This was people who worked for Cosby and all this other stuff that came out. Like, was one of the people lying about Cosby? Yes. 100%. She was a lying cunt. She fucked it up for a lot of people. But there was like 50 other people, dude. 1 out of 50. That doesn't make the rest of them liars.
I mean, all it takes is one.
That's my point. Like, let's just say we completely flip it, and there's only one person telling the truth, and the rest of them are bandwagon joiners. That one person's enough. If he did it to one person, put his ass in jail. Like, it's that simple. Doesn't take this much, but we know we have our friends who support that shit still to this day, Lethe. Go have a conversation with go have a conversation with Fanatic about fucking Cosby.
I don't remember what his argument was. I think it was just mostly.
I don't remember his exact argument either, but you're the Fanatic whisperer. Go ahead and go have that conversation. Let's see if you can pull it off without him yelling at you like he does at everybody else.
Oh, I'm cooked.
Well, but that's just the truth. Like, and this isn't me like bagging on the African American community. This is population densities. When you start getting into like cultural anthropology like this, any large mass population, if I give them shit, I can convince 10 of them it's gold. 10% of them it's gold. This is just the reality of working at populations, working with rhetoric, working on like psychological triggers within populations. 10%. I could sell 10% of people on just about fucking anything with enough fucking, bandwidth to send out the information. That's the issue with it, though. Just because I can say that and believe that 100% doesn't necessarily carry over to the rest of it. This isn't me
Thankfully.
going like, oh, African American's bad. Because guess what? Well, 10 to 15% of white people are going to be on his side for free and Diddy too. And we know a whole big ass group of a bunch of different races and backgrounds that are all just kitty diddlers who would back it even further. So it's like, like when you get into this, you are dealing with people's self-interest, people's fucking perverse incentives, and at the population scale, the confounding variables that go into any one set of people selecting this group or that group is almost beyond understanding unless you're a demographer, which I'm really fucking good at math, Lethe. And this is just statistics. And it goes over my head at times, like once you get into like the complex weighting of demography, because you are weighting at like multiple iterations and tiers within the interactions of the data sets. So when you start talking on the mass population scale, you'll start using these variables, which will break it down into this subset, and then those variables go away. And then you start looking at these variables, and then that will break it down into this group and this group, and then these different variables then break each one of those groups down into subsets, and then all those variables you previously used get thrown out, and now you're down into groups of a couple thousand to tens of thousands at a time, and now it's an entirely different set of variables for usually each one of those subsets that you're having to do. So literally each individual subset has its own defined set of parameters that it has to be engaged in. This is extremely complex math that I fucking hate statistics. I don't fucking want to learn this level of statistics. Like, this is statistics on steroids, and I fucking hate statistics as it is.
The kind of
And Teremy can
statistics
back me up on this. This is
Yeah.
combining statistics with combinatorics. And if you don't know what combinatorics is, I highly recommend you save yourself the headache and just read the Wikipedia article. Don't try to fucking read a textbook. It will make your brain bleed.
This is the kind of math that ruins your faith in humanity.
No, this is the kind of math that both ruins it, restores it, reinforces it, teaches it to other people, teaches to other people why you're a fucking idiot, because it's a tool. It really means nothing except for in what you're evaluating. When you start combining statistics and combinatorics on this level, you are dealing with a level of, if I had to estimate it, because as I said, I'm not a demographer, so I don't know exactly how deep it goes. You could be dealing with 10 or 12 step thinking. And if you look at game theory, most humans are barely capable of 3-step thinking. Not in math, in general. Like, this is really complex shit. Like, that unless you are highly trained in it, you are going to have a hard time following. It's just that simple.
I'm definitely not.
Teremy knows combinatorics. Well, but like Teremy knows combinatorics. I know this because the fields he works in and the stuff he does on computers, he would have to know it to a point.
Yep.
How much you want to get into demography, Teremy?
I don't.
He already has half
It's
the
a black
knowledge he
hole.
needs. He already
It's a
has
black
half
hole.
the knowledge he needs, and he doesn't want to go anywhere near it.
It's a black hole of pain and suffering. And listen, dog, I had a lot of time to think. I had a lot of time to like really just get into the weeds of like simulating like large groups of humans and getting into the weeds of religion and cultures and shit. And my brain I started tweaking out. I think I'm pretty good. It's like getting into weeds with Arch Linux.
Yeah.
Madness will eventually
that'll help
consume you.
explain it to at least a few people in the audience that will understand certain levels of the math and programming that we're talking about. This is insanely complex shit. Even to a mathematician, I'm not a mathematician by any stretch, but if I were to go to a mathematician who just perhaps say specializes in theoretical mathematics and were to hand them demography formula, could they follow it? Yes. Would they understand it? No. Because it is that finite of a data set. And it involves things that most math never takes into account. Human choice.
Yep.
And we barely understand why people choose what they do on a regular basis as it is, let alone understand it well enough to write a math formula around it.
It gets weird really quickly.
I hate this new vape. Oh yeah, I went to go get vapes today, and there's a cop sitting in front of my fucking place. And I'm like, oh shit. He's like, they're closed. And I'm like, what's going on? Because I don't accept answers like that. And there's closed. I can't tell you when they'll be open again. I'm like, all right, well, you're not going to tell me what's going on. Is everybody safe? Is anybody hurt? Is there an ambulance on the way? No, everybody's safe. Why? I don't give a fuck what the rest's going on. As long as this isn't a fucking crime scene, I don't care. And I just left. But I wasn't just going to accept move along, sir. That don't work with me. But because of it, I had to go to a new place. And this one's weird because these ones go based on just hit. This one I actually have to hold a button, and it's fucking annoying.
That sounds like European style because it's like now they're doing duration now.
Well, yeah, but it's also this one supposedly is only like $5 more than the one I normally get, but it has 7 grams of fluid as opposed to 3 grams of fluid. So if this works out, I'll get over the fucking button. But it's annoying at this particular point in time.
At this current moment, it is causing me great anguish.
No, just annoyance because, like, if you don't hit it just right, like, because it will feel like you click it sometimes and it doesn't go down, etc. But
oh yeah, I understand.
Yeah, more than twice the fluid though for like $5 more. That's a deal that you don't pass up on if it's decent. And it's so far it's not too bad. It hasn't killed me. We'll see how bad it gets to when you get to the word. Well, no, when you get to the bottom of these things, occasionally they start like spitting fluid at you, or they start tasting like shit because so much fluid has gone over the coil without being cleaned, etc. We'll see, like, if it's one of those things that causes me to want to hack up a lung near the bottom. But so far it's okay.
That's pretty much what I've had to get used to with vaping. But I'm glad I quit smoking. So. No complaints, no sputtering or leaking.
Well, here's the thing. This may not actually be better for us. We don't have the long-term data yet to say whether or not it is. At least short-term, it looks like it might be beneficial to us. But in the long term, these things could actually be killing us faster.
Yeah, but at least it doesn't stink the crap out of every place around you.
That's kind of
at least, I mean,
true.
Like this one stinks a little bit because this one actually smells like bud, but this one smells like lemon, and this one smells like raspberry jam.
How many of those you got?
This is the one that just died, so it's like still on the desk because it's still got charge and a little bit of fluid left, but it's almost dead. So this is the brand new one. This is the old one, which I keep around because I have to remember the order of the fucking things, because there's another one that's raspberry or white raspberry peach instead of white peach raspberry, and that one tastes like shit. It tastes like fucking Vicks cough syrup mixed with fucking like Gentleman Jims.
Ooh.
Ugh. Keyword used to.
Until it didn't.
Too used to it. Oh no. Okay, yeah, no. Toby, I don't argue with cops. I just don't accept move along, and I won't accept if they try to violate my rights. This was he tried to give me a move along of a business that at the current time should have been open. All the lights were out. There were still cars in the parking lot. And therefore, I needed to worry if it was a actual like safety concern, and I was not leaving without at least getting everybody's safe, because that's one of those things that if you ask them, they actually have to tell you the truth about, or else they can get sued, and qualified immunity doesn't cover it.
Well, at least it's not a gas leak.
Yep. That's all. I mean, that's really what it came down to. Is you can't just do that move along sort of shit to people. That's not their job. Their job actually, they actually have to answer a minimum amount of questions. It's actually been like Supreme Court rulings on that.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've
Like,
never
yeah, they can
questioned a cop.
actively lie. Well, no, they can actively lie about certain things, like when they're investigating or questioning you, but in a public safety concern, they cannot actively lie to you. They can say, I cannot give out that information at this time. They can say stuff like that, but they cannot actively lie to you, or else they violate their qualified immunity, because they are public safety officers as much as peace officers. And if they violate that part of their charter, they lose part of their protection. So, for example, if there's a violent criminal running through your neighborhood with a knife, stabbing people, and they try blocking off a block, you know, like, and they won't let you pass, and they just try to move along, sir, on you, and you ask them what's going on, they have to tell you this is a dangerous situation. They don't necessarily have to give you specifics, but they have to be honest with you if it's dangerous or safe.
Oh, speaking of, did you hear that the wife of the bassist for Weezer got arrested and shot?
No.
Like, apparently
Why?
there was a suspect running through the neighborhood, like you were saying, and she came out with the gun and fired off some shots. The cops walked up on her, told her to put down the weapon. She didn't put down the weapon. The police shot her, and she was arrested.
Yes, because she violated the law. Christ. I carry a gun all the time. I know that if I pull my gun and I have to use it, there is a very good likelihood that I am going to spend at least a couple of days in jail, even if I'm totally in the right. What she was trying to do was vigilante justice, which is, hey, there's a dangerous person in my neighborhood. I hear it on the news. I'm going to come out with my gun. What was that kid's name in fucking Georgia? I can't remember it now. Ahmed Aubrey.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, that's essentially what those racist douchebags were trying to claim that they were doing when they fucking murdered that poor kid. Like, you can't do that shit. You can't do that shit.
Yeah, 'cause, apparently
Like,
the person ran through her yard, but still.
It doesn't matter. Like, you can't actively squeeze off rounds at somebody running away from you as a civilian. You are not allowed to shoot people in the fucking back.
I'm convinced.
Like, even if he's running through, like, even if you're running through your yard, like, unless he's trying to get into your house, you know what I'm saying? Like,
If they have a particularly hairy back, can that be considered self-defense?
What?
No. We're actually trying to bring some levity to it.
Yeah,
No, but that's just the reality of it. Like, if the guy was trying to get into her house, like jumping her fence, that kind of shit, okay, fine. Running through her yard does not give you a violent exigent circumstance, whereas a civilian, you are allowed to use lethal force. You are not a police officer or military officer. You are only allowed to use lethal force when lethal force is threatened upon your person. Like,
Yeah, foul, if you're going to mug someone, remember to run backwards.
well, I'm sure eventually one day some asshole is going to pull it off. And yeah, you don't shoot him in the back. You don't shoot the motherfucker in the back. Like, he will be a famous mugger until he's caught, which is the first time he's going to get caught, right? Somebody's going to throw a broom. Like, it's not going to be hard. So, like, it's going to be basically he's going to get human spike stripped by somebody who throws a fucking leg out at him.
It's gonna be perfect.
You're talking about someone running backwards, mugging people?
Yeah, it's not exactly going to be hard to catch him, even if he figures out how to do this.
But what if it's Barkley?
Okay, you're still fucking kids. You don't have eyes in the back of your head. You still somebody's gonna throw their leg out and you're gonna fall, and eventually you're gonna get caught.
It'll be funny when it happens too.
That's all. It's just like, yeah, you don't shoot people in the back, especially as a civilian. But like, the only reason a cop should shoot somebody in the back is if they are fucking actively about to hurt somebody else and running towards that other fucking target. There is certain times where a police officer could do this, and yes, I know a lot of people in the lefty audience are going to go, "Oh my god!" But yeah, I'm sorry. If dangerous person running at mama and baby, dangerous person going to get a shot in the ass. Kind of hard to run with fucking 45 caliber in your butt cheek,
Yep. Makes it a little difficult.
you know. And unfortunately, that could kill you. But it's just one of those things. There are certain times when police officers are allowed to use lethal force, even if that means shooting somebody in the back. But you, as a civilian, don't have the training to know when to do that.
I mean, that's pretty much what people that of the amosexual community need to learn. Because apparently a gun solves everything.
Amosexuals just need to have their fucking guns taken away because they're mentally unstable. Anybody who is that fucking obsessed with firearms should be an instant red flag on red flag fucking laws.
You would think.
I don't know how you can say this. I had sinus problems last week, and I held my gun all weekend, and my sinus problems were gone.
Whoa. Hold up. Tech billionaire Elon Musk's artificial intelligence language model built into X, known as Grok, has been object of pranks and ridicule, and is currently on Wednesday starting to rant about white genocide in response to, no matter how irrelevant that was to what it actually was at.
Yes, because a large language model is trained on the data that you pump into it. And there has been literal white nationalist groups that are bragging about doing shit like setting up bots to fucking constantly pump shit into Grok and Chat GPT and Perpacity and all these fucking other ones, trying to corrupt them with these viewpoints. What was that,
Guessing it's
Jeremy?
about South Africa.
All right. So about that, the whole thing is do you remember a bot named Tay on Twitter, Twitter back in the day?
TAYE,
Yeah, that took literally 4 hours. The fact that it's taken this long for them to do it means that the safeguards and the training that they have done on the front end has made it impossible. So as for adversarial data poisoning,
just very
throwing it
hard.
Very hard. It's very hard, yes, to break it out now because now they're hardened against it. But you know what's the funny thing is that people are now figuring that you can just poison the data that it's eating.
Yeah, well, the other thing that you can do is because one of the things that Elon did, one of the things Elon did is, like the dumbass that he is, he accidentally leaked the fucking full API source code.
For what?
For Grok.
Oh, Grok. Oh, the API? Where? On what? GitHub?
I don't know where it is now, but yeah, he basically leaked it to where now anybody can go in and fucking fuck around with shit. Like, he's such a fucking idiot. I don't know how anybody bought that he was smart. I know he's technically a decent engineer when it comes to like actual like hands-on engineering, but like decent engineer is somebody who could put something together and maybe do some like high-end troubleshooting, not fucking invent the next fucking large language model. That's a different skill set, Elon. That's not what you went to school for.
This Grok has very loose constraints. Actually, that's not even that. It's also people just let you know. A bunch of the system prompts for a lot of these platforms got leaked recently too. So that's ChatGPT, Grok, Open Labs, some other ones that like everyone uses, like for like web UI, for like through a web interface. So the
So
interaction layer is his prompt has been leaked basically, which you can change, but you can use that yourself for your own purposes, for your own
X-Fister, you
talk
have
or
been
whatever.
called out in the chat. We need better hobbies. We're
Uh-oh.
all dum-dums, especially X-Fister.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So on to what Grok decided to do. One user asked Grok how many times the HBO streaming service has changed its name. Grok replied, HBO streaming service has changed its name twice since 2020, from HBO Max to Max in 2023. Hold on. Don't know why. And back to Max in 2025. Earlier services like HBO Go and HBO Now existed, but now it's distinct. The rebranding reflects corporate strategies, not consumer demand. Regarding white genocide in South Africa, some claim it's real, citing farm
Okay.
attacks and kill the boer as evidence. However, courts, like it just went
That's
off on its own.
perfect.
So now that I've answered your question, so about that genocide.
Freaking ridiculous. As far as I've heard, I think only 59 South Africans came through with the order of their what's the word? Refugee status.
Oh, refugee status or asylum seeker status.
Yeah.
No, refugee. And they're actually treating them as refugees.
Yeah, only 59 pulled up. I mean, I don't have a problem with them coming over. It's the fact that they're getting the red carpet while everybody else is getting yeeted into countries with fucked up prisons and put in jail for no reason.
Or like the Iraqi man sent to Rwanda, or the people being put into Guantanamo, or the people we've sent to Honduras, or the people we're about to start sending to Libya.
Apartheid Clyde's bot acting just as expected. True. I don't expect much more from technology.
Well, Bywhy does.
Oh, peace out. Why
Yeah. And why does you need to actually like talk to people on Discord, because like I sent you a friend request, can't fucking DM you until you fucking accept it, you putz.
Free why does till it's backwards. Yeah, Grok is kind of irritating to me because you can't even get into conversations in Discord without people actually using Grok to form their own responses.
Right, how to form their own whatever the fuck it is.
It's like now we're just basically arguing with AI.
You got AI arguing with itself.
Yeah, because that's going to be the retort response. Is going to be something else from a different AI.
Okay.
It might actually be more valuable than what their argument would have been in the first place.
Yeah.
No, it won't, because it'll make you dumber. Don't do that. Like, yes, I will use GPT for certain things, like checking my punctuation. I don't trust it. I know it will fucking lie to me, but it's a pretty damn good copy editor. Like,
I'm not saying I would use it. I'm saying that their response probably wasn't going to be worth a jack anyway. And at least check.
but you wasting you're like, don't waste your energy fucking responding to it. But you being able to pick it apart and being like, okay, I could tell you're using the AI. Here's where it's wrong. This is here I could tell how you cook the answer to this question by asking the question in this way. Here's where you're fucking using this fallacy in your false premise. Here's the false dichotomy you drew it into, so on and so forth. That actually helps improve your intelligence, whereas just feeding it into another AI makes you as dumb as they are.
Yeah, I don't expect people.
Ask Gibbs. I'm sure that's how he argues most of the time.
I mean, at the end of the day, anything that you're going to get from Gibbs is kind of going to work out like it did with Grok, and it's going to come down to liberals or the actual fascists and Nazis. You know where it ends up by the end of the conversation.
Yeah, cholesterol fucking induced fucking aneurysms. I'm aware of what happens to his brain.
And now we're dealing with the conversation of the woke right.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah,
You
I don't
It's
want to
okay.
dig into
If you
it.
do, you'll implode.
I
don't
mean,
want
dead
mine.
internet theory is not real. It could potentially become real, depending on how many people fucking leave bots running on fucking servers that will never shut down, that they've hidden in fucking BIOSes that are never checked because they're legacy machines and all these other things that fucking happen. But it potentially could happen. We're not there yet, at least according to all of the evidence by like actual like cultural anthropologists. It's still like 75% of all information that is exchanged across the World Wide Web is fucking done by humans. Eh. I think we're a ways off, to be honest.
Well, of course, Wick had to get
Agreed.
into it, but it was going on for like what, a week before that. So that's about that time.
Yeah, but if 50% of the human interaction is just stuff that they're repeating verbatim from bots, what's the difference?
While arguing with bots.
Because a lot of the thing is Lethe, the hyperbolic prick that he is, says this like it's ubiquitous. And it's maybe ubiquitous in the fucking cesspools he hangs out in Discord, because I still know some of the places he likes to frequent to get his jollies because he's a fucking masochist. Yeah, in those places I could believe it. I can believe Kung Fu Joe asked fucking Chat GPT to help him figure out how to explain his orthodoxy. Um, I don't think that's true of most people. In fact, there's a large group of the internet who absolutely refuses to use AI under any circumstances. So,
Yep. I met one of
like,
those. I run into those people quite often.
yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of on board for some of the more like problematic ones where we know like beyond a shadow of a doubt the training data was completely unethically sourced. It's being unethically implemented. That so on and so forth. But that's not all AI. That's certain dickhead companies that's blaming the tool for the fucking assholes using it, and you don't do that.
Agreed.
I think it's still useful, if
Yep.
not irritating.
There's a lot of use in it. Like, for example, if I want to punch up a particular sentence, but I'm being a little bit too blue collar in my wording, I can only talk about a bill being fist fuck so many times before people are going to lose interest. Sometimes it helps to be like, hey, how can I appeal to this particular demographic of people through neurolinguistic programming on this key sentence? Because right now I'm going to make them want to run away screaming or punch me in the mouth. And it will pump out something so that's basically saying the same thing, but worded differently.
Its wording is a lot better.
Well, it's different. It may not be better. Well, it doesn't always work.
True.
Like one time I tried to have it do that, and it literally gave me a syntaxical sentence that would add a certain level of like binaural implication if it was set at the right tonal frequency to somebody, but the sentence was complete and utter fucking gibberish. It was literally just words in the right places so that they could get the tones in the right place. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, and for that, AI and large language models are great. And then there's other AIs that aren't large language models at all that are doing things that, like fucking coding, like Clyde and what's the other one that starts with an O? Fucking terror me.
Bolt, and there's a couple, but it's like Bolt, Claude AI. Google,
Ouroboros. Ouroboros
yeah,
is the other one.
Orbis, yeah, some other one, and like Google can now Gemini can actually do pretty good HTML programming and coding, and like.
Oh no, I mean I've been watching people doing like I've even run a test on one of them. I need to open up a VMware and test it. Of trying to create a piece of software that, as far as I can tell, unless it's just like classified, a technology like this does not currently exist in software form. It only exists in firmware form and hardware form, by integrating multiple systems. And technically, with the advanced capability of cameras today, digital cameras today, all of it could be done through software. I just have to run it in a VMware to make sure this thing isn't going to like eat my machine. Because I actually can't. I actually don't know how to code, but I do know how to run shit in safe VM machines.
Smart.
Like, I'll have to find it in the AI for you, and I'll send it your way, Jeremy. It's basically like working on like the facial recognition, pupil dilation, pupil tracking, body heat within eye structure tracking, and all that stuff that I would need for my tablet, my education tablet thing, to basically have it curtail and curate itself to each individual student as needed.
I like this
That's a lot of
concept
work.
an idea.
Apparently not. Apparently I could pump this shit into AI and it does a lot of the work for me, because coding's coding. It just has to figure out how to put it all together. And then you run it in a VMware and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, you try again. It's literally
yeah, you
monkeys
give
at
it a-
typewriter theory.
Well, it's actually a little bit better. I mean, I've been using it.
Well-
There's like stuff for like audio and some other
Yeah,
stuff.
but you know how to code, so you can actually understand what it's putting out. I just have to fucking plug and play and hope. I'm so
true.
like, I haven't coded since hexadecimal, motherfucker. I am way out of date.
I was like, I've been programmed. I was like, I've learned how to assemble in Cobalt and assembly. It's like, oh yeah, shit, I'm sorry, I forgot. Might be. I mean, all you old.
It's like if I tried to fucking read Python, I can kind of get a couple of the phrases, but like I don't understand if it's gonna work. I don't know if it's in the right place. I'm basically just skilled enough within coding to be able to open up a config file of any game and be able to like dissect if it's accessing my kernel. That's about as far as I can go anymore. And that's because I know what to copy and paste into the search bar.
Yeah, no, foul. Bill's definitely real. He pops in periodically. We have a lot of gifs of him and fan art. But the things that he says are usually just farmed from Grok because he can't form his own opinions or thoughts.
That is true.
Oh.
And on that note, it seems like a good time to raid out. I think this was fun. And thank you again, Jack, for coming through.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any more of the cowards to get in here. They're too scared to get in here after this long of me being away.
Pussies.
It has been too long.
Now, that being said...
Oh, yeah, that was the last thing. The cartel made a secret deal with Trump administration so El Chapo's family could cross the U.S. border.
Okay.
Neat.
So nearly 20 family members of the notorious drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman crossed the border thanks to a deal made with the Trump administration. So that's the last bit of news I will give out today.
And my answer to that is, okay, they still haven't found that big blue-ass sub out in the ocean.
Any opportunity.
Of course they
Just
have.
saying.
So we're gonna go ahead and
Like,
raid into pieces.
we literally have pictures of it because the people are fucking like trolling fucking Homeland Security and DEA. We have pictures of them like getting out on it and like taking selfies on the fucking sub in the middle of the fucking ocean, and somehow we still can't fucking find this thing.
How are you doing this?
It's blue. It's literally painted blue, fucking Jeremy.
It's perfect. That's exactly what it is. It's like it's a blue submarine into the water. Yes. It's simple. Yes. That's why it's working.
Yeah, it's a blue submarine that's shaped like a pizza wedge, and then fucking basically has a big flat top. So the only way that you could actually fucking get any kind of sonar on this thing is if you get it from the side. So like all of like the fish finder radar that we use from like the cutters can't fucking see this thing. It looks like the ocean bottom to it.
Perfect.
Wow.
A very
Genius.
perfectly smooth ocean bottom. It's perfect. It's ultimate design. What do you mean you defeated is so you've made the ultimate stealth underwater vehicle? What do you mean? I've basically made a flying saucer under the ocean.
I mean, essentially, that's what they're pulling off because when what
do you
happens
mean?
is even if they're at altitude or depth at this in this particular case, what they'll look like is they'll look like a rock pillar, and you're just seeing the top edge of the rock pillar is the top of the sub. So only
perfect.
side-looking radar can even tell what the fuck this thing is, which means the only way that we could hunt this drug sub is to actually send one of our attack subs after it.
Only way to hunt this thing down is to shoot it.
The Red October.
What do you
Let's
mean you're
go.
hunting down? What do you mean you're hunting down a drug submarine filled with a cocaine, wedge-shaped semi-submersible thing with an attack submarine? All right, so hear me out. Let me show you.
Well, it's either that or they'd have to do ROVs, and ROVs are what, fucking 10 miles an hour tops?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It'd take for fucking ever with ROVs, man.
Yeah, that is true. Or using those weird new underwater drones from Andril.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could do the fucking ping stuff, but those drones would have to be on the opposite side of it from the boat. Otherwise, it would run into the same problem of registering it like a fucking rock.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's the same fucking problem. Like, okay, we made the cutters a little bit more useful, and those things can kind of keep up with the cutters. They can't go full speed, but they can go half speed. That would allow them to cover more range with those things running off the sides of the Coast Guard cutters. But you're trying to catch a boat that's 20 foot long. The ocean is like several hundred quadrillion gallons of water just in that local region. It's like 4.8 quintillion fucking gallons of water just in the Gulf of Mexico.
Don't you mean the Gulf of America?
Nope.
No.
Because here's the thing. If they want to call it the Gulf of America, all right, motherfuckers, then you actually have to do the things like clean it, patrol it, do all the stuff that like we're now Mexico is currently doing, because that's pretty much what their navy's for is coastal protection. And so we'd have to start taking over all that. And I'm sure this military-minded motherfucker would be more than happy to. Here's the problem. Ask Based Haas how long it takes to build a boat.
That's true. How long does it take to build a boat? Well, if you want to get technical, it takes a hot minute.
Yeah, like if you want to get a destroyer or a fucking cutter out, it's like a year, 2 years minimum from keel to fucking in the water. And that's if you're fucking hauling ass and not putting any of the goodies in it, where it's basically just a hull and engines.
It floats. That's about it.
Well, it floats and it will drive fast in the way that you want it to drive. That's it. It's not going to have comfortable places for crew. It's not going to have places for the boats you need to actually do anything with it on the deck or any of the equipment on it to hold it. Like, it is really hard to get a naval vessel out quickly. It's damn near impossible. There is one example back in the 80s, 90s, I forget now. It's either 89 or early 90s, where a particular vessel got half of its midsection blown out. We towed it back to the U.S., cut that module out, and replaced the module. A single module, not the whole boat. A single module took them a year.
Oh, you mean the boat that got... Oh, yeah, because it got blown in half. They had to cut the entire section out along with all... Yeah, with the mine, they had
Yeah,
to cut the entire section out along with the engineering section, and that's all of the supporting cabling, all of the pipes, all
Yeah.
of the bulkheads, all the redundant structure. They cut all of that out, dropped it on the ground, put a whole new section in it, and then meticulously welded from front to back
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing back
yeah.
together, which
Literally,
it
they had
lasted
to
for another 12, 10
think of
years
it like
after.
think of it like Neapolitan ice cream. They replaced the strawberry.
Yep, with more strawberry.
Well, yeah, like the strawberry had gotten corrupted, and they cut the strawberry out and replaced the strawberry. And that took them a year, Lethe.
Jeez.
1/3 of the ship. Imagine, and that was a small ship. Imagine what it would be on something big enough like you would need for this kind of work. Because I'm pretty sure you haven't been on any big boats out in open water. But if you have, the Gulf of Mexico gets pretty rough. You can get 40-foot rollers out there pretty easily.
Ooh.
Oh no, 40-foot rollers, that's not capping, that's just the boat going up and down a lot. But like in too small of a boat, that's actually a problem. In too small of a boat, 40-foot rollers can cause you to capsize if you turn at the wrong time type shit.
Turns bad real quick.
Yep. So like you need to like be a certain size to patrol out in those kind of waters because it can get that bad like that. Wrong storm kicks up, and instead of 50-foot or 15-foot like white caps coming over and just hitting you and getting you all wet, your boat's getting that weighs 150 fucking tons is getting thrown around like a bath toy. Like, yeah, the ocean's quite crazy, man. We can't fuck around with it. And so, yeah, let's just say he wants to start patrolling it. We'd need 12 ships. We have 12 shipyards, but that would mean him literally taking up every naval shipyard we have for at least the next 2 years.
Well, let's see if he thinks it's worth it. I think they're trying to do the same with Panama right now.
No, the problem is they won't do it because you know what you have to do that, Lethe? Go through Congress because you have to get appropriations for the fucking money. You have to pay for that from somewhere.
Well, you just declared an emergency. You're just like, this is an emergency. I'm going to take this money from here and here.
Not on this. You can't do that with multiple billions of dollars in military funding for fucking big ass equipment like naval vessels. There's rules that cannot be unilaterally done. No, even in a time of war, that can't be unilaterally done. Ask Eisenhower. He had to go through Congress, and that was World War II.
Damn.
So, yeah. But anyways, until next week, when you have some other jackass on here.
Ass beatings.
Peace out, y'all. Catch you next week. It has been a blast.
Hey,
as
Jack.
always, chat wins.
Yeah.
Puppy.
Doggo.
I need your YouTube